Imagine a country with its own government, currency, and army, functioning independently for over 30 years, yet invisible to the world. It's called Somaliland, a self-declared state in the Horn of Africa, thriving without international recognition, no seat at the United Nations, no access to World Bank loans, and no formal place in global diplomacy. Despite this, Somaliland has built a stable, peaceful society from the ruins of civil war. The world's refusal to acknowledge it has forced Somaliland to become a master of unconventional economics. Cut off from global financial systems, it relies on its own people and resources to fund schools, hospitals, and public services. This daily balancing act is a story of resilience and ingenuity. While neighboring Somalia struggles with conflict, Somaliland has become a rare pocket of peace and democracy. Its stability has allowed businesses to grow and trade to flourish, defying expectations for an unrecognized state. In this video, we'll uncover the financial secrets that keep Somaliland afloat, its domestic revenue, the power of its diaspora, and the foreign investments shaping its future. We'll also explore the challenges it faces, from transparency issues to exclusion from global banking. Somaliland's journey is about more than economics. It's a testament to identity, perseverance, and the will to build a nation against all odds. To understand Somaliland, you first have to find it, tucked in the Horn of Africa, bordering Djibouti, Ethiopia, and Somalia, with a long coastline on the Gulf of Aden. Once a British protectorate, Somaliland's colonial history set it apart from the Italian-ruled South. In 1960, it gained independence, then joined Italian Somaliland to form the Somali Republic, an experiment that quickly soured. Northern Somalilanders felt marginalized, leading to growing grievances and, eventually, a brutal civil war under Siad Barre's dictatorship. When Barre's regime collapsed in 1991, Somaliland seized the moment to reclaim its independence, declaring the union with Somalia void. For Somalilanders, this wasn't secession. It was a restoration of sovereignty lost in 1960. While Somalia descended into chaos, Somalilanders held clan conferences, disarmed militias, and built a new government. They drafted a constitution, approved by public referendum, and have since held multiple democratic elections. This internal peace and self-governance stand in stark contrast to the South. Somaliland's stability and democracy are the foundation of its unique, resilient economy. Yet, not a single country officially recognizes its existence. Somaliland's economic engine is the port of Berbera, a vital trade gateway for both Somaliland and landlocked Ethiopia. Customs duties from the port are the government's main revenue source, funding salaries and public services. Local business taxes, collected from bustling markets and enterprises, further support the state's budget. Tax collection is challenging in a mostly informal cash-based economy, but efforts to formalize the system are underway. Somaliland also sits atop untapped mineral and energy resources, gypsum, coal, gemstones, and potential oil and gas. Yet, without international recognition, attracting major investors to unlock these riches remains difficult. The livestock trade, rooted in nomadic tradition, is another economic pillar, with exports to the Arabian Peninsula generating crucial income. Despite periodic setbacks, livestock remains vital for rural communities and government revenue. Together, Berbera Port, local taxes, mining potential, and livestock form a diverse domestic engine. Somaliland's ability to generate revenue from within is a testament to its resourcefulness, but much of its wealth remains locked away, awaiting a future when recognition might open new doors. Domestic revenue keeps the government running, but remittances from Somaliland's global diaspora are the lifeblood of society. After the Civil War, hundreds of thousands fled abroad, forming communities in the UK, North America, Scandinavia, and the Middle East. Every year the diaspora sends back hundreds of millions of dollars, far exceeding the government's budget. These private transfers pay for food, housing, education, and healthcare, acting as a social safety net in a country with limited welfare. Diaspora money also fuels investment. New businesses, homes, and jobs in cities like Hargeisa are often funded by relatives overseas. The Hawala system, a trust-based money transfer network, enables fast, low-cost remittances even without formal banking. Mobile money services like Zad and eDahab have made sending and receiving funds even easier. But this reliance is risky. A recession abroad or tighter banking regulations could disrupt the flow, with immediate consequences for families. International scrutiny of hawala for money laundering has already made operations harder. For Somaliland, protecting this financial lifeline is a matter of survival. The diaspora isn't just supporting families, they're building the nation from afar. Remittances are both a blessing and a vulnerability. The challenge is to turn this private wealth into sustainable long-term development. For years, Somaliland's lack of recognition scared off major foreign investors, but its stability and strategic location have started to attract attention. The biggest breakthrough came in 2016, when Dubai's DP World signed a 30-year deal to expand and manage Berbera Port. This multi-million-dollar project is transforming the port into a regional trade hub, creating jobs and boosting government revenue. The deal also includes a new road corridor to Ethiopia, and, controversially, a UAE military base, highlighting the geopolitical stakes. Somaliland is now courting investors from the UK, Taiwan and China in sectors like energy, fisheries, and agriculture. Diplomatic ties with Taiwan signal a bold, pragmatic approach to economic partnerships. Somaliland's leaders are building de facto relationships through trade and investment, even without formal recognition. Somaliland's unrecognized status creates major economic hurdles. Without access to international banks, businesses struggle to trade globally, relying on costly informal workarounds. The government can't borrow from the World Bank or IMF, limiting its ability to fund infrastructure and development. This financial isolation slows progress and leaves a massive infrastructure gap. Transparency is another challenge. Public financial management is still developing, and the budget process remains opaque. International organizations that could help are largely absent due to Somaliland's political status. This makes it harder to implement best practices and fight corruption. The lack of recognition creates a vicious cycle. No access to finance means slow development, which in turn limits recognition. Every achievement is made in spite of these barriers. Somaliland's economic reality is a daily struggle to be seen and heard in a world that looks the other way. Somaliland's story is one of resilience, building a functioning state and economy without international recognition. Its financial model blends domestic revenue, diaspora remittances, and targeted foreign investment. Mobile money and community ties have created a surprisingly advanced digital economy, but the model is fragile, over-reliant on a single port, vulnerable to diaspora fortunes, and exposed to shifting global regulations. Lack of access to international finance remains the biggest obstacle to sustainable growth. The future depends on continued innovation, new partnerships, and a commitment to good governance. Somaliland's journey offers lessons in state building and economic survival. The next chapter is unwritten, but the world can no longer afford to ignore it.